Hello everyone, my name's Ozzymitsu and welcome back to my channel. I was thinking the other day, I've done so many comparisons recently as part of my Evolution Solution series that I almost lost sight on how it originally came about. I originally sought out to compare unevolved Pokemon with Evolite and its evolutionary counterparts. And whilst I love comparing other Pokemon who I'd have otherwise not have been able to talk about, I want to do a good old classic comparison. So what better way to bring it back by discussing one of my absolute favourites. So today we're going to be looking at Evolite Clefairy and Clefable. Enough babbling though. Becky, would you mind telling the viewers a little bit about Clefairy please?
Clefairy. This impish Pokemon is friendly and peaceful. It is believed to live inside Mount Moon, although very few have ever been seen by humans.
Clefairy evolved from Cleffa when leveled up with High Friendship. It is a pure fairy type Pokemon, which means it is weak to poison and steel. It takes no effect from dragon type attacks, whilst resisting fighting, bug and dark. Looking at its abilities, it has 3. Its primary ability is Cute Charm, which may cause infatuation upon contact, whilst its secondary ability is Magic Guard, which prevents indirect damage as a whole, for example from entry hazards, weather conditions like sandstorm or hail, as well as damage from burn or poison. A very handy defensive ability that can be used in an offensive way too, which I'll talk about when we discuss Clefable. Its hidden ability is a real great one, its Friend Guard. This reduces the damage done to allies by 25%. With the exception of moves that deal set damage, for example Seismic Toss, but there are many other moves that fit this description. For more information on that, I'll place a link to an article that describes this in a little bit more detail in the description below. Moving on to its stats, they don't really look like much at all, however with the correct EV spread can prove to make Clefairy a handy little battler, especially with the added bulk holding Evolite. Now Clefairy is a very versatile Pokemon, there's no one correct way of using it, however I've had a lot of success with the following set. Thunder Wave or Toxic, Aromatherapy or Safeguard, Moonlight and Moonblast. I'd opt for the Friend Guard ability, of course holding Evolite. The EV spread would be 252 HP, 252 SPDF and 4 EVs in either defense or special attack. The idea is to provide complete support for your entire team with Friend Guard, reducing damage inflicted to them, whilst Aromatherapy or Safeguard to protect them from status conditions, Moonlight for your own recovery, and T-Wave or Toxic depending on if you want to slow your opponents down or if you want to wither away their health turn by turn, and finally run Moonblast in case you get taunted so you're not forced to struggle. Of course this set mainly works in doubles. The only problem is Clefairy is completely shut down by taunt users or any steel type that would happily eat that Moonblast for breakfast, whilst biting back with a super effective steel type move like Iron Head, and even with Evolite will cause a lot of problems as Clefairy is more suited to being a special wall as opposed to a physical one. Alternatively you can go for a set that I've personally used that has done reasonably well, which is Cosmic Power, Moonlight and Moonblast. The final move can be Heal Pulse or Follow Me depending on what sort of set you want to go for. Of course this is only suitable in a double setting, as I doubt anyone would let you set up Cosmic Power in a singles battle. Get those defenses up, heal off any damage inflicted with Moonlight. Heal Pulse is to help your ally sustain itself a little bit longer. However, if you didn't care about that, you can always run Follow Me, coupled with the Cosmic Powers that you have stacked up. You can easily eat hits for days and avoid your ally being hurt. Moonblast is just in case you do get taunted. The beauty of this set is that you can run Magic Guard over Friend Guard because you're using Follow Me to avoid your allies being hurt, and you won't care about being Toxic stalled, and you're still used as a great supportive Pokemon due to Follow Me, almost being a replacement for that Friend Guard ability in that you're keeping them safe until you're knocked out, whilst your teammates do all the dirty work of attacking and taking care of all of your threats. Of course moves that hit both opponents like EQ or Rock Slide tear this strategy apart, more so Rock Slide due to the flinch chance, and Knockoff or Trick will shut you down completely, so keep that in mind when sending this little pink pocket monster out for battle. All in all, Evolite Clefairy does amazingly well in lower tiers and has seen some usage in VGC 2016 OU, which was something. And just another point, I stayed away from using moves such as Minimize because in my opinion relies too much on luck, it's very situational and you'll only see an Evolite Clefairy in doubles, which means Minimize isn't nearly as effective as it would be in singles. Let's move on to Clefable. Becky, can you tell us a little bit about Clefable please?
Clefable, an advanced form of Clefairy. These unique creatures are amongst the rarest Pokemon in the world.
It evolved from Clefairy when exposed to a Moonstone. It shares the same typing as a pure fairy type Pokemon, meaning it shares the same weaknesses, resistances and immunities. It also shares the same primary and secondary abilities in Cute Charm and Magic Guard. However, its hidden ability changes upon evolution from Friend Guard to Unaware. Unaware essentially ignores any stat changes by your foe. Usually a common problem support Pokemon have is that they are often prone to being setup fodder, where the likes of, I don't know, Mega Scizor for example, can just Swords Dance free of charge and then obliterate everything with a single bullet punch. Whilst that still remains the case to a certain degree, an Unaware Clefable won't necessarily get OHKO'd by a bullet punch, as it'll ignore any of the stat boosts. I still to this day cannot decide if I prefer Magic Guard or Unaware, as both suit Clefable really well. Moving on to its stats, when you look at it at first glance you think, how the hell has this Pokemon been in OU for so long? Its highest stat being shy of a base 100 makes you question how good is Clefable actually. However, echoing my previous sentiments about Evilite Clefairy, with an effective EV investment, Clefable can be quite the threat. Clefable has the versatility of being able to hit hard, as well as adopt the role of a support Pokemon, and with its item slot being freed up, you can hold leftovers for consistent recovery. The problem I've had with this video was just narrowing down my thoughts on what kind of sets to go for, because I'm so fickle when it comes to doing this. In fact, when I love a Pokemon's battling capabilities so much, I tend to breed a multitude of them with different natures, abilities, EV spreads and a moveset, and Clefable is no exception. However, I'll provide one offensive moveset which can be used in both singles and doubles, as well as a defensive set which would be suitable only for doubles. So for the offensive set, I like to think of this as my Trick Room sweeper, as Clefable isn't the fastest mon out there, and I love using Trick Room in my team, so after an ally has set that up, Clefable takes care of the rest. The moveset for this is Calm Mind or Protect. You can switch between the two. I usually run Protect in doubles and Calm Mind in singles to boost your special stats by one stage, followed by Moonblast, Flamethrower and Psychic. However, the non-stab moves can easily be exchanged for Ice Beam or T-Bolt. I prefer using Flamethrower and Psychic as the way my team has been set up, I already have the Bolt Beam coverage, and Clefable provides the extra coverage in these two moves. Flamethrower especially as it hits Steel types super effectively, and I've noticed a lot of Steel types tend to be physically defensive, and none of them will appreciate a Flamethrower. For this particular set I run the Magic Guard ability, not so much about the worry of being toxic stalled, but so I can run Life Orb. This means Clefable benefits from its advantages, but no drawbacks. It won't lose any HP that Life Orb causes when using it, and honestly it makes a massive difference in the long run. The nature I run on this is modest, however if you want to be extra cheeky you can breed yours with 0 IVs in speed and further sustain itself in Trick Room with a quiet nature, boosting that special attack whilst lowering your speed. For a defensive set, again I've had so much fun using this one. I run Encore, Spotlight, Moonblast and Moonlight. With this set I like to hold leftovers, but you can hold a Citrus Berry if you wanted some recovery when you're in a bit of a pinch. The EV spread would be max HP, max Spadef and 4 in special attack. I run the Bolt nature because even though this is for Clefable to mainly act as a special wall, I want to be able to maybe tank a neutral physical hit reasonably well. The idea here is to lock your opponent into a move that they ideally don't want to be using again and again, but if you're afraid of being hit super effectively you can scout for this by using Spotlight. This is viewed as the opposite of Follow Me, which basically forces your opponent to attack your ally. Cheeky Clefable. Ideally you want to have a bulky Steel type ally, as this typing either resist or are immune to all of your weaknesses, and honestly it's as much fun as it is gimmicky. Moonblast just in case you do get taunted, and even with some investment you can still pack a mean punch. Finally opting for Moonlight just for reliable recovery. Honestly though, don't take these movesets as gospel, as in OU people have run Clefable in a very different way than I have. I'm only going by what has worked particularly well for myself.
Hello?
Reviewing the two from an analytic standpoint, they're both great in battle and can easily fit a particular role in your team, either like Clefairy mainly being used as a support Pokemon, whilst Clefable can be used in the same manner but can also be used to hit like a truck. From a competitive standpoint, although Clefairy can be viewed as bulkier than its evolutionary counterpart with the help of holding Evilite, it can only fit the role of a support Pokemon. Even if it is arguably bulkier than its evolution, its limited resources make its playstyle very predictable. As well as this being completely shut down by Taunt, getting hit by Knockoff, losing its item and then practically becoming useless, whereas Clefable has the benefit of having a free item slot to fit a particular role it wishes to play with Life Orb, for a more offensive set, lefties, or a HP healing berry for a defensive role. Not only this, just because Clefairy is considered bulkier with Evilite, you need to consider what it's going to do with that added bulk. Otherwise you can just consider it being setup fodder, especially considered a non-invested stab attack won't be dealing that much damage, whereas Clefable has the comfort of fulfilling this role without relying solely on its item, as well as its ability Unaware, rendering stat increasing setups useless. All in all, I'd say Clefable is overall the safer and more reliable Pokemon to go for due to its versatility, the way it can utilise its diverse move pool, as well as benefiting from its abilities the most. Not only this, it makes use of its stat distribution far more effectively, as it actually has a usable special attack stat to hit your foes relatively well. Nevertheless, Clefairy's Friend Guard ability cannot be sniffed at, and really shows Clefairy really owns the niche as a support Pokemon, but my main problems with it is that it mainly uses moves such as Follow Me, which sort of defeats the object of reducing damage being done to your ally, if they are going to be redirected to you anyway. But if you're not running Follow Me, you can really make use of this ability, and its possibilities to make this work are endless. Taking its competitive usefulness out of the question, however, I prefer Clefairy. It's one of my favourite Pokemon. I love its design, its in-game cry, it's just absolutely adorable, and I have a lot of fond memories watching its appearances in the first season of the anime, which I've spoken about in a bit more detail in my top 10 favourite Pokemon list, which I'll place on the iCard as well as in the description. But what about you guys? Which of the two do you prefer? Be sure to let me know by leaving a comment down below, and also don't forget to leave a like on this video as it really does help me out, as well as subscribing to my YouTube channel to become an Ozzywatt today. And with all of that being said, I'll see you guys very soon.